You can't just pick a place to go, book a flight, find a place to stay, and be done with it. So why do some people make it look like traveling is so easy? They can get in and out of the airport without any problems. There is one thing all of these travelers have in common: an itinerary. How do you make a beautiful travel itinerary, though? We understand how much time and effort it takes to plan an effective travel schedule. If you are having the same problem, then this video is for you. As in the video, we're about to give you some tips that will help you make the most of your time, keep track of your money, and get from one place to another quickly and easily. So stay tuned. Number 1. Brainstorming your wish list. So you've booked your trip, but there's nothing on your itinerary. You can go anywhere you want, but where and how do you begin? The first thing you should do is come up with some ideas. If you're going to a popular tourist spot, you probably already know what you want to see, like the Colosseum, the Eiffel Tower, Chichen Itza, etc. If you're going somewhere you've never been before, your brainstorming phase might be short, but if it helps, it can also be less specific. You could ask yourself the following questions to help you come up with ideas. What are the most famous or well-known places in my destination? What are the most important places or things I have to see or do on this trip? Why does my spouse or travel partner have to see or do these things? If you have kids with you on the trip, why not include them in the planning? They will enjoy feeling that they helped plan the trip. What kinds of things do we like to do the most when we travel in general? Great, write this all down. Don't be afraid. So far, nothing is set in stone, and anything is possible. We haven't thought about how much it will cost or how much time we have. Okay, keep this list handy. Now it's time to do some basic research on your destination. Number 2, research your destination. Here is where you need to do a lot of research. Learn as much as you can about the place you're going. The more good information you have, the better you can plan your trip. Think about these things. What is the place I want to go known for? Is it art, nature, history, architecture, or something else? What time of the year will it be when I'm going? Are there any popular things to do during that time of year that I should try? Is there anything special going on there during the holidays or festivals that I could go to? How is the weather there usually at that time of the year and that month? In other words, will I be able to spend long periods of time outside, or will I want to stay inside more? Where am I going, and what public transportation options do I have? Is there a good metro or public transportation system, or will I have to rely on taxis, ride-sharing, or walking to get around? Where are my rooms in relation to the most important place on my list? Is there a city pass or a museum pass for the place I want to go? When you're finished, you should have a list of everything you want to do on your trip. Number 3, map it out. The best thing to do after making a bucket list is to figure out how to see and do as many of the things on it as possible. Here, a map would be helpful. Start by putting all the things on your list of things to do, places to see, and things to do on a map of the area. This will give you a good idea of how close things are and what you can see in the time you have available. You can do this with Google Maps, where you can add pins for each attraction you want to see. This can be added to the online document or app you use to plan your trip. If you are going to more than one place, make a separate map for each one. This will help you figure out what you can do in each place and start making plans for your whole trip. Number 4, plan your transport. Figure out how you will get to the starting point of your trip and from each place on your list. If you're going to use public transportation during your trip, it's a good idea to find out what options you have, how long the trip will take, how far the nearest stop is from your attractions, and how often it runs. Number 5, book your transport and accommodation. Once you know how you'll get from A to B and what you can do at each place, you can start booking your transportation and lodging. Flights are often the most expensive part of a trip, so book them first. Once you know when you'll be arriving and leaving, you can start looking at places to stay. Number 6, create a calendar. A calendar is one of the most important tools for making a travel plan. This is where you start figuring out how your trip will work and how everything will fit. Start with a traditional printable calendar before moving everything to a Google Calendar or Google Sheets calendar. The best thing about Google Sheets is that you can share other people who are traveling with you access to it as well. Start by writing down all the fixed information you know about your trips, such as the location, flights or transfers, hotel reservations, and tours. Then start filling in the blanks with all the sites, activities, and experiences on your list. Make sure to add time frames for any reservations you have so you can start to see where you have room to add more things. Use Google Maps to find attractions that are close to each other, and if you can, plan to see them all on the same day to save time. You can also add extra time to the schedule for travel days between destinations and some free time each day to explore or just relax. This is a must-do when traveling with children. Don't forget to add extra time in case things take longer than you thought, especially when it comes to transportation and flights. Some people like to make all of their travel plans ahead of time. We think it's best to wait to book anything until you have a plan for your trip. This way, you know exactly what you need to book and when, which speeds up and simplifies the process. Popular places can fill up quickly, especially during school breaks or busy travel times, so it's often a good idea to book ahead. Number 7. Finalizing your perfect travel itinerary. Once everything is on your calendar, it's time to start putting the last details together. This is where you should start thinking about things like how to get there, where to stay, and what to eat. You will need to plan ahead if you want to rent a car while you're on your trip. The same goes for any tickets or passes for long-distance public transportation. If you haven't already done so, now is the time to book your hotel. For your trips, you can book a mix of hotels and Airbnbs. This gives us some variety and room for change. You'll also have to decide if you want to book any activities or attractions ahead of time. This is usually up to you and depends on the kind of trip you're going on. When going to popular places, it's often a good idea to buy tickets ahead of time to avoid lines or days when everything is sold out. Just show up on the day of the event or attraction if it's not very busy. Number 8. Proofread and double-check your work. The information in an itinerary is what makes it useful. After a few days, look over your work again to make sure you've included everything you need. Even better, have someone you trust look over the document to make sure it doesn't have any obvious mistakes or missing information. First, make sure you have the basics right. For example, you should make sure you have the correct name, address, and phone number for a hotel. After that, it's time to move on to your itinerary's specific dates and times. Go through each line slowly to make sure everything is right. Make sure that every arrival has a departure that goes with it, and vice versa. Last, double-check everything that you wrote down. Check the plan one last time to make sure that everything is clear and makes sense. There you have it, the perfect itinerary for your perfect trip. What do you think? Have you ever put together an itinerary? Did it help you while you were on the road? Tell us in the comments below. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you hit that notification button so you don't miss another video from us.